This tutorial is on how to make beaded snowflakes. Items needed are the frame. This is a 6-pointed snowflake frame. This one's a 6-inch. Assorted beads. I like glass, faceted. Ear nuts. Little plastic backs from earrings. Okay, to start these, I like to use the smallest bead as the center bead. And when I'm done, I'll show you why. So I'm going to pick a 4mm bead, and it's going to go on there. You want to make this one and this one the same. So I start with my little one. I like to gradually get bigger and then smaller again. You want to use different beads, different sizes. You can also use different colors. And you just thread them on. Some kind of cool pattern is usually nice. And we'll throw a bicone on the end. There's just much space left. Now this is where you want to put your ear wire on. Oh, come back here. Put your little nut on there. It's okay if a little bit sticks out the top because you can cut that off later. So I've done this side, and you see the ear wire, the ear nut keeps it on there nice and secure. I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to do it identical to this one so that you have some kind of symmetry in your snowflake. So I'm just copying what I did on the other side. Add one of these. You can do this in different colors. If you do decide that you're going to use different colors, just make sure that they're transparent and faceted because it just creates a more beautiful snowflake. All right, so then I did this one. And the same one turned around. A rondelle. Square. A bicone. And an ear nut. So this is simple stuff. It doesn't really matter how you do them. It's going to look beautiful no matter what you do. So we got some great symmetry here. All right, I'm going to start the next wire. And I'm going to want to do this one. And then this one. So again, I always start every strand with a tiny bead. And that's because when you get done, if you use tiny beads, they'll all fit in the center spot here really nicely. Now you can choose to make every single spoke the same. If you're going to make them different, make sure each side matches. So like this one and this one and this one and this one, this one, this one. So I got my little one there. I think I'm going to make mine all different. So I'm going to grab one of these. And I'm going to put one of these. Another one of those. I like to do a pattern. I've got a round. How about a... Now see how I make patterns here. You can do this however you choose. Bigger or smaller. And then I'll put a tiny one on the end. See, now that doesn't going to work because there's not enough room for an ear nut. So leave the little one on the end off. You would rather have some of the stick sticking out the end than to be able to not get the ear nut on there all the way. Come on, flip it and do the same thing on the other side. There is no wrong way to do these. All right, so I've got one of these. Rectangles. Down there, you little bugger. Another one of these around. One of these. Another round one. And we had a big teardrop. And a little teardrop. See, now these ones are not even, so I'm going to have to leave the big teardrop off. So I'm just going to put a small teardrop here. And then maybe one of these little tiny teardrops here. You need to have enough room to put the ear wire on there, ear nut. So even though those are different, they're very similar. And, you know, when it's hanging from a distance, you'll never be able to tell. Okay, for the final two, we're going to put one of these little baby ones on there. And you see how the center's coming together really nicely there? It's making a nice little circle. They all fit in there nice. If you use big beads there, what happens is that you can't, they won't come together and make a pattern in the middle that's cool. It'll leave like a lot of empty space there. You'll be able to see the wire. So I'm making this one all clear, but you can definitely add colors. If you bought a kit from me, I included one other color, blue or purple or something. A little one. And then we'll put a rondelle in the center. And then we'll do this one this way. These are so pretty and they're so fun to do with your kids. I think you could be as young as 5 and still do these. How about a little rectangle? And then it'll be like the beginning. If you don't have the ear nuts, you can also glue the last bead on there in place with some jewelry glue, or you can loop them into rounded ends. I like the ear nuts because you can change them. See how pretty that centerpiece is there now? I got a flat rondelle. One of these, another rondelle. Do we need a little teardrop? There's got to be one more here somewhere. see, we did this end first. We put it pretty round there. Big teardrop. So you see I don't have a little teardrop, so I had to use a bigger one, but you're really not going to be able to tell when it's all said and done. It's still going to be beautiful. Just keep going, using the same pattern. All right, so this one's not going to have room for other ones and still have room for an ear nut. So I'm just going to put an ear nut on there right now. Twist it on there nice and tight up against that last bead. So this is what you've got going on. Now you just need to decide which one's going to be your top. And I think I like this one. Maybe this one. I like this one. Okay, so this one, I'm going to take off this ear nut on the end there. And I'm using a one-step looper. But you could also use pliers or needle nose pliers preferably. You just want to make a little loop there. I don't have my pliers here, but just make this into a little loop using your needle nose. Twist it around. And then you're set and ready to go. You hang your little hanger on there. If you choose to use like fishing line or a thin wire here, you can then also bead that up that. So like if you use fishing line, for instance, you could use bugle beads, clear bugle beads to put on the string, just to get a little more decorative. And if you want, you can choose to take these and use your wire cutters and just cut right at the end of the ear nut so you don't have a little piece sticking there. But when you hang it, you really can't see it anyways. So, you know, that can be something you do or not do. It really doesn't make any difference. It's not going to matter in the final say of it. But that's how you put the snowflakes together. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, and share. And I'll be bringing you more how-to videos as I do them. So everybody have a happy holiday and have fun crafting.